No, I look at my own personal like things that are relatable to me as far as what everything is how it relates to me. A lot of things I look for. It's like, all right, uh, let's take for instance my birthday is August 6th. That's what Hiroshima or Hiroshima, however you want to say it. It's also what Independence Day in Jamaica with 1962, and that relates to me being a Rastafarian. Seriously, not even trying to be funny or make light or make a joke of it. I've been told that by people. It's when it actually, I didn't come up with this name, Ja Rules, on my own. Somebody gave this to me that knows me. So, yeah, before I started this channel, when we were coming up with a name for it, someone just shouted this name. It just stuck. And that relates to Bob Marley, who spent about 18 months of his life here. He lived in North Wilmington in a house over on West 24th Street with his mother. His mother's name was Adela Booker. That was her name. And you go by that house now, it's all muraled up. I don't know who. Someone lives there. I don't know who, but you can see the murals. You can see that it's got red, green, and yellow paint on the side of it, and it's got a picture of him. So there you go. And then the Holy Roman Empire fell on my birthday. Now that was a Jeopardy clue. It said the year 18 something, and I tried to dig for it, couldn't find it, but it did say that on the Jeopardy clue because it started off on this date, August 6th, whatever 18, whatever it was. This empire fell or whatever, and then what is the Holy Roman Empire? That is correct. That's how it went. But I couldn't find information on it. But anyway, this shit relates to me, man. So I like, and another thing, what allows me to know that I'm spiritually connected somehow is there's a lady I know, right? And she's from this area, and she's got her last name is Booker, but she's got Bob Marley's wife's first name. So I told you what her name was, but I had to do it this way. So I thought her name, first and last name. I said, I wonder if she's related. I said, she ain't no wonder. She's got to be related to Bob Marley. She's got to be. So I thought about that, thought about that, thought about that. Not really just that was my only focal thought. No, but I just wondered about that. Then one day I'm at the seafood counter at ShopRite getting ready to get some salmon, right? And she comes up. And I recognized her through the because we had no mask. She had a bandana tied around her face, but I still knew it was her. And I said to her, I said, I just said, "Are you related to Sadella Booker?" And she looked at me like, "Oh wow." She was like, "Yeah, I'm related to him." And we talked about that for a couple seconds. But the point I'm making is when you connect it like that, you'll think on somebody or somebody for some reason they'll pass through your head and you'll see them 2 or 3 days later. I've done that several times. I got other examples I could share, but I don't want to keep going with that. And to switch it up to where how I know that it was in God's plan for me to have contact with a true Hebrew Israelite. All right. Now, I went to I mentioned before I went to Morgan State in the fall of '92 because I graduated and that's that summer, that June. So we're going to college, and before we went to college, or before I went to college, we went to orientation week at Morgan. A little bit before we started this semester, I meet this kid named Sean, the most nondescript dude I've ever met in life. The dude that turned me into a nondescript dude just from hanging with him because he didn't want to go to parties. He didn't want to do shit like that. So, I stopped wanting to do that shit too after a while. But anyway, so all right, we meet orientation, we huh? Break camp, and then when it's orientation time, our orientation's over and we're ready to start the semester, we're moving back in the dorm. I see him. I just happened. I'd already moved in, I believe, and I see him down in the like the cul-de-sac right in front of the door, unpacking boxes with his mother, taking him up to his room. So when I see him, I'm like, "Yo, Sean, what's up?" He's like, "Yeah, how you doing?" And he's like, my roommate up there, he somehow knows me. He said, "Did you go to classical high school up in Rhode Island?" And Sean had never didn't recognize the dude or nothing. So I didn't think nothing of it, but I'm sure he did. So we go back upstairs, start talking to his roommate. His roommate's name is B. And B's last name is James. And my first name is James. So there's a connection right there. But lo and behold, eventually B ended up like failing out of college, not because he was stupid, just because he didn't want to do the work. He would go off and talk about the system and stuff like that, and how just not off the wall shit, but just shit to make you start thinking. And I really wasn't a smoker at that point. Just a couple times to have like Cheech and Chong moments with your friends. See, Cheech and Chong. That Cheech and Chong stage never really stayed long with me because I had gotten with this Rastafarian dude in my neighborhood when I was 16 and smoked out with him. And that was like my first experience of like being in deep thought as far as your smoking goes. And that's what B was on that. Yeah, he was on that, man. Because the first semester, he and Sean stayed roommates. And then the second semester, me and Brandon became roommates. But the point, I'm getting off a bit on a tangent too much, but the fact that B and Sean had the opportunity to make acquaintances back in Rhode Island, but they didn't. It had to be where Sean met me, and I was going to meet B through Sean. It had to go down that way. That's why he didn't meet him up in Rhode Island. And what's even funnier, B was from an island in the Caribbean, and it through conversation, Sean has a not a long lost father, but an estranged father who lives down on that very same island. So after that first semester, Sean reunited with his pop, and it just so happened they hung out. B and him hung out on the island and stuff like that. But when they came back to school, me and Brandon became roommates then, and kind of like pushed Sean out of the picture, kind of because me and Brandon were a little bit more of a. Because Sean was really, really all for the broads then. He wasn't trying to get no chick or nothing like that. He was just so all for the broads. And then, like I said, Brandon wasn't, B wasn't going to class or nothing. He was just smoking, staying in his room, growing his dreadlocks, playing Bob Marley too. That's why I tried to interject that on the station. Y'all just wasn't catching it like that. That's what brought me into the spiritual realm, was listening to his music. Yeah, I was smoked out listening to it. I'm sure that helps, but I was just trying to catch somebody with it. Didn't seem to work, but that's fine. It doesn't take anything away from who I am and who I know I am. So anyway, Brandon never came. B didn't come back to college that semester. The next year he failed out, and I talked to him, and he was telling me because we would talk every now and again. I would call him, and he would call me, and we would speak about stuff. And I remember this is when I had stopped eating pork, and I was telling him about it, and then he was telling. That's when he started sharing with me that he was into this religion called the African Hebrew Israelites, and he sent books to me for me to read. And I made a mistake of leaving them out on my desk in my bedroom. My mom found them and threw them away. I come from a family that if it's not, my mom would be like, if it's not Christianity, don't bring it in this house. So I was never ever encouraged to explore different types of religion. And I really don't think I want to, because the Bible, about 90% of the Old Testament is gone, and 80%, no, 50% of the New Testament has been omitted. So I'm almost certain, I'm positive, I'll bet anything that there's scriptures that they took out that led to the Most High's people knowing who they are. That was part of keeping us from knowing what our true identity is by taking out certain books of the Bible. So I never really had no interest in theological knowledge, because I don't know if what you're telling me is the truth, some shit that some guy made up, or some shit that where you change the story to fit your narrative so you can control us through slavery. I mean, think about it. Why would I believe a white man is telling me that another white man is going to come down from the sky and save me from the very same white man that's telling me this bullshit. So I always had reservations about Christianity, and I didn't like the fact that my mom threw my books away. And then also, B had sent me a picture of him giving speeches, right? And one thing about the Hebrew Israelites, they dress in a way to where they can be identified as they look like Israelites would look in the Bible. And if you all know, you all do know me, and I'm not someone that wants attention like that, wants attention at all, really. So it kind of shied me away from that religion because I didn't want to alter my dress. That's kind of petty and small, but at the time I'm 20 years old. It's 94. So I wasn't ready for anything like this now. I knew that there was some shit that I needed answers for, wanted answers for, and wanted understanding about, and I was just going to find it as I go. But, to be honest with you, part of the reason why I'm making this video is so that the people that I'm referring to, if they hear this somehow, some kind of way, they'll know I'm talking to them, and they'll know that, we talked about things like this happening in the world back in 93, 94, and 95. So, some people out there that went to Morgan State at the time, that's Israelites too, that I don't know where they at, and I ain't heard from them in like 20 years, because I heard from B 20 years ago. He called me. I don't know how he found out I was living here. I didn't see. At the time when I knew him, my parents were the focal point, were my strongest support system then. And then my grandmother became my support system when I was about 26 or so, and about 2000 when I moved here. When he called me, found out what this landline was, found out I was living here. Like I said, I don't think my grandmother wasn't a focal point in my life like that. She was in the back. She was in the background of my support system. She didn't move to the forefront till 2000, but somehow he knew I was here. And he called me and we talked. And y'all know I'm a MGTOW guy. And one of the things he was on was about wanting to build a family and start a family and all that. But I didn't know anything about anything that was like, you know, not the best mission to be going on. But I hope it worked out for him, though. When everything settles with this, everything traveling, and when the economy starts to get halfway back up again, because it's not going to get back up, right? It's not. I'm going to take a trip down to the island and check him out, see how he's doing, see how he's been for real, because I'm sure he's made some. I mean, anything could be. I don't know what's happened to him in 20 years. Who knows what happened to him? Now that I think about it, anything can happen to him. If you think about what I'm saying, anything could have happened. So I need to go and find out about that man for real. But yeah, that's my experience of dealing with a true Israelite. And yeah, it's just, I mean, I know who I am, and I'm not here to try to convince anybody to believe what I believe to be true, because you haven't lived any of this stuff. So I'm not even too sure if the story was told in a way for you to really understand where I'm getting at. But if there's something you don't understand and want me to clarify on, you gotta leave something in the comment section, because I will address those kind of things individually. I mean, that's what I'm here to do. I'm kind of believing that I may be, when I look at my history of my life, being taught by Gentiles and reciting Bible verses and having good oration skills, I may be that dude that's supposed to bring Gentiles that have good hearts. I'm supposed to bring them to the Most High. I know there's a Gentile out there, and I don't insult them when I say Gentile, because I don't want to say white and black anymore. I just don't. So, as what's up, Doc? Because see, I put shit out there just to see where y'all motherfuckers be at sometimes. When I made a video about me getting roots put on me by one of Umar Johnson's fucking succubus sluts, what's up, Doc was the only one that showed concern for my spirit like that. You don't think I recognize shit like that? And he also recognized it was putting a Bob Marley out to try to teach you people shit. But it's like, it's not, everything ain't for everybody. Going back on Umar Johnson, when I went to one of his hyena events before I concluded that he was a fraud and wasn't going to build no school, David Banner was there. And he spoke after Umar Johnson. And he was saying everything ain't for everybody, because he tried to tell women that were close to him, girls in his life, about, the shit Umar Johnson be on. But everything ain't for everybody. So That's what I say. Everything ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't no true spiritual person out here because the world wouldn't be as messed up as it is. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll say more about it if you ask me more about it. But other than that, I don't think I'm gonna be talking about. Well, yeah, I will because there was some things that went on when we was roommates and yeah. So I need to talk about that stuff. Yeah, all right. But that's it for right now. It's about 4:30 in the morning. I'm going to get up and go to Umar Johnson's school and do the last video that somebody asked me to do about what he was talking about inappropriate shit with them kids and shit, talking about dirty drawers and stuff like that. So, because I'm an insomniac and I don't sleep well at night. So, I'm about to get up and do that in a minute after I upload this and go out there and talk about some shit. And then I won't be doing no more Umar Johnson because it's like, what is it like? I don't want to talk too much about it till I do the video, but it's like these updates on this stimulus package. It's like everybody's reporting and they have no concrete evidence on anything. It's just hurry up and wait, and we don't have anything. Nothing new is in stone, but just watch my next video. That's what all this Umar Johnson shit is. This nigga ain't building a school, but just watch my next video. I know. Don't forget to donate.